Sunday. I am Moe Sass, your host of Self-Love Sundays with Sass. I am your certified vision and empowerment and extreme execution coach who comes every single Sunday so we can talk about all the ways in which we can better our best. And the very first thing I want to know is, have you found your way yet? Have you purchased the copy of my book, Finding Your Way, 7 Ways to Love and Heal Yourself? You can actually find it on Amazon as well as my website, www.mosass.com, and I will also leave the links at the bottom of this video. Okay, here we are almost at the end of April. How are things going for you? We're well into the second quarter. It's amazing how much time flies. And I said I was going to be traveling this week. As you can see from my background, I am not in my usual place, and it's just been a whirlwind of things going on that we'll talk about soon enough. But also in the midst of this, I'm getting my baby ready for the prom, my son. It's just been an exciting time in my life in 2023 so far, just in all the things I've embarked on and getting the kids, where they need to be. So it's exciting. And this month we've been talking about the theme, and it started off with a revelation that I received, which was John chapter 9, 4 and 5. And it reads, as long as it is day, we must do the works of him who sent me. Night is coming when no man can work. While I'm in the world, I am the light of the world. And when that was given to me, I was like, I have to really break this down into 4 different segments, because truly in this passage, they're talking about the significant message for all of us, which is to remind us of the importance of time. Like, we sometimes we act as if we have all the time in the world, and it's just really not true. And so we must capitalize on the opportunities as they come, because again, night is coming when none of us can work. And so while we're here, we must do our work. And so the very first week we talked about recognizing the value of time, which if you haven't had an opportunity, you can go back and check that out. And then last week we talked about embrace the sense of urgency. And this week, one of my favorites, being a light in this world. And I said this last week, if you don't understand anything else, right now, more than ever, this world needs more of your light. More of your light. Yes, you who are listening, your light. And so in this passage, Jesus was referring to himself as a light in the world. And so we're talking about being a light. When I first thought of it, I didn't think of this, but I'll tell you, when I first read it, I thought about being in your purpose, really living out your purpose. Like, are you in your purpose? Because if you're in your purpose, our purpose is about serving others. If you are a leader, you have to ask yourself what kind of leader you are. But no matter what, I need you to understand that you are serving others. Servant leaders are the best leaders because they understand that it's not about them. It is about the people whom they are helping. I don't care whether you have a product. I don't care if you're like me, you're an author, you're selling a book. I don't care if you're a CEO of a company. I don't care if you're just the leader in your home. At the end of the day, we are put here to serve others. Now, I will stop right here and say, listen, vision and empowerment, self-love. I wrote a book on 7 ways to love and heal yourself. So I do understand the importance of you loving yourself. That is very important. Of course, we must love ourselves so that we can love others better. And even within that, it's still all about us being here, giving back to this world, serving others. But from Jesus' standpoint, he was definitely in his works, but he was talking about being kind, compassionate, right? In terms of serving others. And so when I was really going through everything, when I was doing my research for this topic, I thought about how many people I come across on a daily basis. I mean, it's all over social media. It's like, I just want to be happy. I'm just on the search for happiness and joy. And I want to help you understand something. Until you get in your work, until you worked on your healing, to understand the most fulfilling thing you can ever do is serve someone else. It is one of the most fulfilling, joyful, happy things you could ever do is when you decide to help others. Now, I'll tell you a story that happened with me a while ago where I was working with, I was actually in a program that was phenomenal. And I was learning about emotional intelligence. And so in that program, we had to do a charity event, and we had to raise money for it was a shelter that housed homeless people. And we had like 2.5 weeks, I think 3 weeks to do this charity. That, because of the charity and because of the person who I knew came through that program, it lit a fire in us, okay? And we didn't let anything get in our way. We didn't care if people were self-conscious, people didn't like to do videos. It didn't matter. We went all out for this charity. So much so, I raised about $11,000 by myself in 2.5 weeks. And you want to talk about joy. You want to talk about happiness. You want to talk about fulfillment. You want to talk about being a light in this world. Every single person I did that project with, I think overall we raised a total of maybe $50,000 or something like that for the charity. You want to talk about that was the best feeling in the world. It truly was. It trumped everything. And so sometimes we're on this search for this happiness and fulfillment, but don't understand that if we just get into our work and start being kind and compassionate and helping others, the joy it will bring. And then as a result of that, it brought out other things within us. Like some of us that had never, done videos on social media and things of that nature, we stepped outside the box because it wasn't about us. And a lot of times people feel stuck in their lives is because they make it all about them. But if you understand that everything that you'll do and everything that you'll touch really isn't about you, it not only isn't about the people that you're helping, but it's about the legacy that you're building and the legacy that you're leaving, whether it's for your children or someone else in your family. And I always ask the question, how will 3 generations from now know that you existed if you never get into why you're really here and live out your purpose to leave that legacy? And so today I wanted to really dig a little bit deeper because there are so many things that you can do when it comes to being a light in the world. Number one, let's talk about being a positive influence, being a positive influence in your home, being a positive influence in your family, being a positive influence in your community. What have you done to influence someone in a positive way lately? Another thing, right? Working in our random acts of kindness. Listen, I'm telling you, one day I was driving through Starbucks. I have a thing with Starbucks, okay? Don't judge me. And I get to the window and I'm ready to pay, and they were like, "Oh, the car before you paid." This has happened to me several times. And it's just that small gesture of kindness for my $5 coffee. I know. But the way it made me feel, I was so delighted. There's other things you can do, like buying $5 gift cards and leaving them in different places for people. We've done things like that too. But also giving back in terms of volunteering and mentoring. Those are great things you can do. And a lot of people think, well, who am I to volunteer and mentor? Well, whatever skill you have and you've worked in a long time, you absolutely can do that. Developing strong communication and interpersonal skills, because that will help you build strong relationships with other people. Another reason why a lot of people are not in their work and not in their passion and not being a light is because they don't know how to build strong relationships. And the way to do that is to develop yourself. This is why I come every single Sunday, so we can have these conversations. All of this is about personally and spiritually developing yourself. And I say it all the time, but I'll say it again. I don't care who you believe in. I'm just telling you that you can find help in a lot of different aspects, in a lot of different groups. It doesn't matter who you call your God. Don't get hung up on that. Get hung up on the lesson. Get hung up on the blessing and move from that, okay? And then if you want to think of it too, especially for our younger people, think about, social innovation. So what are some social and environment issues that you're passionate about? Because some people don't know. It's like, well, I don't know what I'm passionate about. But what social or environmental issues are you passionate about? And then you can get involved in some hands-on training, whether that's you getting into entrepreneurship, learning business skills, and again, mentoring and supporting others to help them launch their social ventures. All of that, again, is being a light and being helpful. There's another thing, because I really want to I'm going to give you 7 practical ways, because I believe in breaking it down and giving practical ways, right? So there's 7 practical ways to be a light in this world, and which actually leads to fulfillment. And I'm going to tell you this: when you see someone and just they look down or you're in the store, how about just bring a smile, saying hi? You never know what that will do for someone. How about giving someone a hug? Now, I'm not telling you to go up to strangers and hug them. I'm not saying that. But you never know what someone's going through. And I always say a hug a day keeps the doctor away, because hugs are so important. They're life-saving. I love a hug. For a personality like mine, who is always on the go, I have very strong will. I'm going to get in my work. I'm going to do what I need to do, because I believe in living how I lead. That is just my personality. Because it was funny, I was at another boot camp, and the presenter said, "What makes you different?" And I said, straight up, I live how I lead. When I come in here and talk to you guys about, I actually live this thing. This is not one of those things where I'm saying one thing and doing something completely different. That's not happening. You can do all the digging you want. You can talk to all the people you know me. You can even talk to my kids that live in the house with me, and they'll tell you, I truly live this thing. Because it's so important to understand that when you start to authentically be yourself and know that it's okay to be you, and start to live actually the things that you're saying, that's also another way of you being a light in this world. But I know I was talking about hugging. And so what I mean by that is, because I'm going to always do the things that I need to do, I'm supposed to do, and I love to do, I just need a hug. That's it. I don't need someone to solve my problems. I'm usually good at, doing that. But a hug, forget about it, okay? I'm the girl that says, yes, I love, love, love a hug. It's so healing and it's so beautiful. But that's also another way that you could be a light in the world. So before we get too long in this thing, let me give you 7 practical ways. Number 1, practice kindness. It costs you nothing to be nice. I don't understand how people genuinely walk around being rude and nasty to people, whether you're having a conflict with them or not, and think that things are supposed to work out okay. It costs you nothing to be kind. You don't have to be rude or nasty. But if you are, I'm going to say this to you. Why is your spirit tainted that way? Why do you think that's okay? And I know we get this thing where, I'm just being real and I'm just being me, but why is that you? Why is that you? What are you trying to protect yourself from? Because a lot of times I found that when I wasn't practicing kindness and I had that barrier up and I was nasty to people when I went and spoke to them in their dialogue, and I had issues with people, 9 times out of 10, it was either something that I was watching that was in my spirit. Because I'm telling you right now, when you watch the news and you become of the news, it makes you an unkind person, because it's the only thing it shows you is all the negativity in the world and not the light and the love. So I ask you, why are you like that? What is it? Who hurt you? And where do you need to go and heal? Because it's a very true thing. Okay? So number 1, practicing kindness. Number 2, volunteer and give back. There are so many people who need help in this world. We have soup kitchens where you can go and volunteer at. There are so many Boys and Girls Club. I mean, we don't have a lot of adult mentors and volunteers these days. But also think about, for my futuristic people, think about crowdfunding platforms and blockchains, right? To help you raise funds for social ventures. We talked about that earlier, right? And that's also another way to track your impact. There's a platform called Giveth, Giveth, that uses smart contracts and cryptocurrency to create transparent and accountable donation system for social projects. I told you guys I would start researching that more, because I understand that everybody's not old school and don't want to go into a soup kitchen and volunteer and things of that nature. But there's other ventures that you can do. And I know a lot of people who seek out crowdfunding ventures and are actually really successful at it. Number 3, share positivity. There's so much negativity in the world, and I get it. When you post things like this, like I come every single Sunday. I know a lot of people who are givers in this world who do videos and love to help people, and they're spreading positivity. They're spreading things that help people become better and be better within themselves, so they can be better for their community, be better for their family. And that don't get a lot of likes. That don't get a lot of clickbait. But when it's negative, it does, and I get it. And that can seem discouraging. It's like, why am I going to come to this platform and not talk about gossip or tearing people people down because that's going to get a million views. But when I come and I spread positivity and love, it doesn't. Here's the thing. It's not about the million. It's not about the million people. It's about the one person. I don't worry about that, because if I just help one person, then I've done what I came here to do. And a lot of times we base what we do on how many people. Doesn't matter. And here's the thing. If you show up in your work continuously, if it's 10, if it's 15, if it's 20, so be it. You've done it. You've done it. So continue to share positivity. We need it in this world. It's so dark and it's so dimming. It's like, I'm telling you, I don't even get it anymore, But at the end of the day, it's not going to stop me from smiling. It's not going to stop me from being positive. It's not going to stop me from sharing positive messages on social media about resiliency and overcoming and being vulnerable. It's not going to stop me from sharing positivity, love, and light. And don't let it stop you. Because that's exactly what the negative entities want us to do. There's a book that I'm reading called Outwitting the Devil. That's exactly, the devil's not something with some horns and red face, and it's the negative spirits and entities and frequencies in the world. And the one thing that it loves to breed and feed on is people who love negativity. That's why I don't watch the TV as much as I used to. That's why I don't watch the news. That's why I don't do any of that, because let me tell you something, that stuff seeps in your system. And you can tell when you meet people and they're just hard and they don't like black people or they don't like white people. It's not because of the people they've been around or somebody has done something to them. It's because of what they consistently watch, what they consistently consume. What you consume consumes you. Okay? Number 4, be a good listener. It's so easy to talk and call people and just blurt out everything that's going on with you. I get it. We need a release. But try being a good listener. Just sitting and listening to someone. Because another thing that I notice is people are not heard. And so they don't feel seen and they don't feel heard. And that's why they're harming themselves and that's why they're harming others. And I don't want to take away from the fact, because we have to do the disclaimers, because I realize my videos go out to the world. Yes, people need to get help for themselves and they need to get into therapy and things of that nature. And the therapist is a great listener. So I'm not saying you take on anyone else's burdens, because I'm the person that you can come tell me the story maybe 1 or 2 times and I'm listening, because I feel like you actually want help. But if you're still down this woe is me 5, 6, 7 times, that's not helping. That's not help that you're looking for. It's attention. And those are 2 different things. So definitely, number 4, be a good listener. And then offer some words of encouragement for someone. Number 5, practice gratitude. Let me tell you something. This was a game changer in my life. When I started writing all the things that I was grateful for, including movement of my body, the way I think, the way I give back, the way I love people, the way I fell in love with myself, okay? It was just a game changer for me. Expressing appreciation, not just for myself, but for everything that people have done in my life. I'm here at my aunt's house who've done so much for me. And just being appreciative of that, because no one has to do anything for you. No one owes you anything. Okay, and when people go out of their way for you, be thankful, be grateful, because it's a blessing today. It's a blessing. Be grateful of sound mind. If you have peace in your life, be grateful. So many people don't have peace in their life. They don't have peace in their heart. They don't have peace in their spirit. So be grateful. Be grateful that you can listen and hear. Be grateful that you can get out in nature. Be grateful if you have a car and you can drive and go places. Be grateful that you just got up this morning. Be grateful. All right? And we're going to talk about a gratitude exercise in the end too. Number 6, be authentic. Yes, I had to take a breath on that. So many people desire to be everyone else but themselves. And I talked about this in the previous video. That's why the cosmetic and plastic surgery industry is $1 trillion industry. People rather look, talk, walk like everyone else other than themselves, not understanding that you were uniquely made to be you, to show up as you, to do that thing that only you can do. Be you. Seriously, like, it's so inspiring to me when I know somebody's being authentically themselves. Like, no matter where I am, I'm authentically me. And that may mean that I could go from praising Jesus, okay, and worshiping, to snapping my neck, to being sassy. Every now and then, I'm not gonna lie, sometimes a cuss word slip out my mouth. I don't always get it right. I've done some things, I've hurt some people, I've gotten better, I've healed myself, I found my way. But I'm me. I'm the Jersey girl. I'm gonna show up with my hoop earrings, right? Ready to roll up my sleeves and get busy. I have a strong, I'm authentically myself. When I walk in the room, when I'm working corporate Americas, I still have my Fortune 500 job. Whether I'm coaching my clients, I'm me. I can respect when someone shows up as themselves. Because I'm not here to change you. I'm here to bring out the best in you. So be authentically yourself, y'all. It makes a difference. And the person you're trying to be like, let me just tell you something. 9 times out of 10, you don't really want to be them because you don't know what it took for them to be who they are. Just saying. And last but certainly not least, number 7, lead by example. I cannot talk about this enough. Lead by example. This includes leading with integrity. This includes being compassionate. This includes being respectful of other people. Lead by example. Stop expecting your children to show up in this world differently when you're not showing up in this world differently. We want them to go to school and behave and be respectful, but yet you're not respectful, but yet you're cursing people out, but yet you're going off. You can't expect them to be something when you're showing them something different. It's the same way when you go out and speak to people in this world. You can't be nasty and expect people to come back and be positive and generous to you. Like, no. You reap what you sow. So if you sowing nastiness, if you sowing hate, guess what you're going to get back? It is what it is. And why can I say that? I don't talk from theory. The one thing about it, when I show up here every single Sunday, I'm talking about actually things that I've put into practice. When I was mean and nasty and hateful, guess what I got back? That. Period. That. But when I decided to sow something different in this earth, I've gotten something so much different. I experience this world very different than a lot of people. People can say it's fairy tales. You can say I have rose-colored glasses on. I don't care. But guess what? It's loving, it's peaceful, and it's beautiful. And I love it here. People talk about hell on earth. I don't experience that. You know why? Because I don't give hell. And that doesn't mean things don't happen to me. It doesn't mean things don't happen to my family. It does. It's just the perspective that I have on it. It's just what I choose to do with it that makes the difference. You're talking to somebody who buried 2 sons, one that was shot and killed down the street, to me like an animal, and I'm still able to show up this way and still able to give this way because I've just decided to do something different with it, to take his spirit and be a light in the world as opposed to being bitter and hateful. It makes a difference. Stop telling people what to do if you're not doing it yourself, even in your businesses. Stop getting on social media telling everybody all these things and you're not living it. Lead the way you live, period. And so for my futuristic people, I found out there's actually a virtual reality and augmented reality experiences that you can have. It's called Voices of VR podcast, and it features like immersive storytelling and interviews with experts in the field of VR and AR. So those are other ways for you to help learn actually how to lead in different ways. There's so much out here, y'all. And I'm not gonna pretend to know it all. I'm learning, and as I'm learning, I'm gonna come back and give it to you. But again, I did say I don't speak from theory. But when I start talking about the VR world, it is theory. I'm learning, but I don't know it all too well, and I'm not afraid to say that. I'm not afraid to say that I'm learning it, and I'm not afraid to say if you know more about it, reach out to me and help me with it. Okay, so. Again, let's talk about the seven practical ways. Number 1, practice kindness. Number 2, volunteer. Number 3, share positivity. Number 4, be a good listener. Number 5, practice gratitude. Number 6, be authentically you. You are fearfully and wonderfully made. Be you. And last, lead by example. So I do a gratitude journal. This is the exercise I want to leave you with. And what I do is, typically I do it at night. before I go to bed, and I write down 3 things that I was grateful for that day. And what it does is it allows me to go to sleep in such a peaceful, loving state. A lot of times when I do that, I have the most beautiful and abundant dreams anyway. But I haven't had nightmares in years, y'all. I haven't gone to bed stressed and anxious in years and with worries, because I go to bed reflecting on the things I was grateful to have completed for the day. Does that mean I have everything done on my list? Child, no. There's some days that list is just too long and I haven't done it. There's some days when even before I do the gratitude journal, I feel defeated because I didn't get something accomplished. But once I do that, it changes so much in my life. You know, it's true. Sometimes when I want to choke my kids, okay, because I'm a real mama in these streets. Okay, I'm just keeping it real, okay? When I think about how grateful I am for some of the things that they've accomplished and what the hearts that they have, it changes my perspective and views on them, okay? They still work my nerve, right? But it does, it changes perspective. You know, even for me, as I was walking through my journey of writing my book, you know, there were some things that came up that was hurtful and harmful to happen in my life. And then I started thinking about, man, you know, I'm grateful for the journey that I walked because it brought me here. And I don't like to talk about my clients a whole lot because for one, we signed an ethics agreement, and I don't talk about them unless they allow me to. But even watching them and how they change their life when we practice the gratitude. I have some clients that actually do gratitude first thing in the morning to help them get their morning started off right, and at night so they can go to sleep at night, because they're busy moms and dads who just life is sometimes seem overwhelming. So we practice our 5-5-5 breathing exercise as well as doing our gratitude journals. If you want to know what the 5-5-5 exercise is, go back and look at my video last week when I talked about creating a sense of urgency, because I put it in there. And last but certainly not least, my calendar is back open. Yes, indeed. I have some clients who graduated out of my program, so I am now accepting 4 new coaching clients. So if you would like to set up a consultation to walk through your vision, to make it plain, to create the goals, to walk through it, and you want the best accountability partner on the planet, i.e. me, www.moesass.com, moessass.com. I will also leave that link in the bio down below. If you just want to ask a question, you want to learn more about what a vision and empowerment and extreme execution does and is, please reach out to me via email, info@moesass.com. And I am super excited that next week is the last week of April, and we're going to talk about taking action. You don't want to miss next week. Next week is going to be that girl, okay? Because taking action is everything that will get you to that next level in your personal, spiritual, and business development. Okay, so I hope you have the most amazing Sunday, and I will talk to you next week.